I'm not, to be honest, this is where I bring in Andy and Billy, the guys who've got us into this position. They've worked extremely hard to continue the work that Dean Saunders set out at the start of the season to get us into where we are now. We'll have a Q&A now, so can I introduce Billy Barr and Andy Murray. Right guys, for this part, I'm sorry we've got no microphone, so you're just going to have to bear with us. You okay guys?
Yes,
yeah. Go for it. Okay, where we are now, obviously you came to us a bit of a shock to you, Andy, when you found out that Dean had left. How did you come to find the news that actually, first of all, that he left the club?
It was a phone call from my nephew. He's 10 years old. He rang me and said that your manager's left. That was 7:30 in the morning. I thought, when the phone rang and he was in, I thought something had happened to my brother, to be fair. Fortunately it wasn't. And so on the drive in, a few phone calls, Brian Carey rang, spoke to Keatsy, spoke to a few of the lads to see what was going on. None of them knew. It was completely out of the blue. We were just training and playing, looking for the Grimsby game, and bang, had that.
So, having gone over the shock of being going, you had another shock within a few hours, really.
Well, I spoke to Brian Carey and he said, he's gone. I'm in with Jeff at the moment. I'll put your name forward for it if you want to take it as caretaker. They're looking for somebody that knows the team, knows the ideas of the way that we play, and I think it'd be ideal to look after him. We had 4 games in 9 days or something ridiculous like that. Take over and see what happens. And I was trying to speak to my wife, couldn't speak to my wife, she was on the school run. So I just got in and spoke to Jeff and Brian when I got in, and I thought, well, I'm in a no-lose situation really. I can have a go, see what it's like behind the scenes and give it a go. Yeah. Anything to help.
The first game was at Grimsby, and Brian was with you at that game, obviously as assistant, I suppose. Couldn't go off to a better start really, could it?
No. I always had an inkling that Brian would follow Dino because they had a good working relationship, but I was thankful that he stayed those few days because he really helped on just with everything that happens behind the scenes. I had no idea, filling out forms, all that sort of stuff. I had no idea about it, and he was brilliant, and he sorted everything out for me, and I just had to decide on the team, decide whether I was going to play or not, and go for it. And I couldn't have had a better start. The lads were brilliant, and I think we scored one of the goals of the season as well.
That's right. Well, we won't mention his name.
No.
It was a good goal.
Team effort.
It was. Obviously, you had the weekend then to think over how you were going to work things at the club. And when did Billy actually come into your thoughts?
Well, Brian came in on the Monday and said that I think we had a game on the Tuesday, didn't we? Brian came in and said he'd been asked to go with Dino and he was going to go, and I couldn't stand in his way. So I sort of left. My wife, when I was trying to get hold of her before to try and tell her, look, I've been offered it, do I take it or what? She was actually speaking to Billy when I was trying to phone her because he was mowing his lawn outside, and she had driven past and said, Dino's left, you don't fancy the Wrexham job, do you? And he was like, whatever, like that. So she said she spoke to Billy, and if I wanted to go round and pick his brains, I could do, and we live on the same estate, so I thought it'd be a good idea. So I went round and we had a glass of wine and a chat about the team and stuff, and Billy said, I'm happy to help, anything I can do, I'm happy to help. And that was the ideal for me because my situation, I didn't know whether I was going to have it for 4 weeks, 4 days, 4 months, 4 years, whatever. And Billy was out of work, so it's set because he said I can help for a week, whatever. I'm not asking somebody to leave a job to go for 2 weeks and then to be out of work. So it just fitted right. And Billy came down and watched the Mansfield job from the stands to have a look at us. He watched the Grimsby game with me after the game, and it's all right, wasn't it? So it just fitted.
Yeah. Obviously, the Mansfield game.
Disappointing.
That's his first home game in charge. What do you think went wrong in that game?
We overplayed. We overplayed in our half too much. We had a lot of possession, but didn't really get anywhere with it. And that's what came back from Bill sat up in the stands. That we still got back into it 1-1, and then I think Nat got sent off straight after, and it sort of killed us a little bit, and then we gave a late goal away trying to get a draw or something. So disappointing, but it was good for me. It was the Saturday the win, and then the Tuesday the loss. It was good because of both perspectives and see how it feels, and it hurts. Yeah. It hurts. So it was a good kick up the backside for us. Good.
First impressions of the club from you, Billy, at that time?
I've known about Wrexham for many years. I've spent my career playing against Wrexham. I'm blown away by the support of the club. Because on a match day, I'd just travel to the game and leave. But when you're actually in the environment and look around things like tonight, it's magnificent. And on the night, as Andy says, I was sat in the stand. I was texting Joey, who was running down and giving a message to Oaksy, who was passing it on to Andy. Because, like you said, we didn't know whether it was going to be 4 days, 4 weeks, and so it was just, Andy didn't want me to come into it straight away with the lads around. So it was just from behind the scenes, but I came into training on the Thursday, and I think the word that I'd sum it up would be honesty with the group that I'd seen. And I was having sport to Andy. The job that the lads have done, you can go back to the things you've said there, from not knowing whether the season was going to start, and not knowing whether they're going to get paid. I've been on the other side of that, and it's always been a downhill spiral. It's never, in my experience of it, gone the way that it's gone this year for Wrexham Football Club, of which everybody's played a part. Trust, supporters, but the players have been magnificent. And like you say there, the Mansfield game, got beat, but that was then the start of 16 games of the lads coming into work every day with a smile on their face, from where they were to where they got to, and it's just continued. And had anybody said to anybody in here at the start of the season you'll be second, or you'll finish second on a points tally that we're on now, I think everybody would have took whoever said a hand off. And everybody probably expected Fleetwood back then to go up, and what a magnificent run they've had to achieve promotion. We just have to make sure now we draw off last year's experience in the playoffs, and then obviously the form that we've shown this season, and take that in and get us to Wembley, enjoy a good day, and go up.
Excellent. Obviously, you mentioned the 16-match unbeaten run, but also starting at the time with the FA Cup run as well, with the games against Cambridge to start with, and then obviously two tough games with us then, in all fairness, and then Brentford. Brentford at the time were on the playoff place themselves. It was a big table one. So it was a big ask to.
We beat York first.
Of course, we beat York. That's right. York, sorry. But the Brentford game itself.
What's going on there? You alright?
You need another substitute. And we were able to take photographs on Saturday.
Just like a monster. When did I tell you that? Still got his picture.
Okay, moving on. Brentford. Obviously, you must look on it as a big task, really, and a big game to test where we are ourselves, as team-wise at that time.
It's a freebie, wasn't it? Going to a League One club. Their manager said that they lost it in the tunnel. For anybody that knows Tolly, if you ever get a chance to be around the tunnel, just listen, because Tolly goes mad. But as soon as he comes out that tunnel, he disappears. So their manager's listening to him. And as I said, after his after-match interview, he said they lost it in the tunnel, which amused the lads immensely because of Tolly. But on the day, again, that lads were magnificent.
Great result. Jamie Captain was cracking the goal as well.
He did.
But then it brings on Brighton and Hove Albion, quite ironic, really, and the fact that we've just become a fans-owned football club, and Brighton have got a tremendous new stadium. Two clubs that were, Brighton especially supporters in the bad old days with Mark Huffman, etc. But absolutely fantastic turnout by the fans down at Brighton, and even better performance in all fairness. What was the day like for you guys?
It was brilliant. It was brilliant. And when the draw came out of the third round, everybody's wanting a big draw, big time. And I think everybody went, "Oh, Brighton." But as the days went on after it, for me, it just got better and better. We were talking about it last week. Big championship club going well, 20,000, but also for us, winnable. Do you know what I mean? We thought we could win it. If you get a Newcastle, a little bit less likely of it happening. So we thought it was a great time to be away in front of that many fans, and we knew we'd take a good following as well. We had a thoroughly enjoyable day, didn't we? I didn't think we played actually that brilliantly, but we were solid. We were hard to beat. We knew their plan. They'd have a lot of possession, but we sat in, and then when you need a player to come up with something a bit different, you got Sizovic in there, and he scored a great goal, got us back in it, and we could have won it as well. And if you watch the game, the last minute, Jay Harris has a ridiculous tackle with their goalkeeper that you think car crash telly sort of thing, and could have gone anywhere, and it's gone the wrong way. But we could have nicked it down there.
That's right. That's right.
But we had a better day with the replay.
Well,
David would prefer that as well.
Yeah, and what a great night that was. It was nice to see the racecourse bouncing again. Absolutely fantastic. But again, another great performance by the lads.
I thought we were brilliant that night. That's the best we've been, and it's easy to say in front of the cameras and a big game at home and full house, but it definitely all helped. So the lads just pure energy and hard work, and they were everywhere. I think Jay Harris got across every blade of grass on the park, and I think everybody played their part. Even with Dan was absolutely on fire the first half and then he goes and does that to his elbow. But no, absolutely sensational performance by a lot of them, and we should have really won it. We should have really won it in normal time. Joe Clark had a header and right at the near post, and it should have been me because we were stood together, and I'd said I'll go, and he'll go, no, I'll do it. I'll keep the keeper in, and he headed it over. But and then Penn's whatever way it goes, but. No, it was a sensational night.
Well, the goal that put us on the way here wasn't too bad, was it?
It was a good one, yeah. It's not one of my better ones, I suppose. I don't often shoot from out there, never mind score, but...
Not the best celebration, though.
No.
As you mentioned then about the racecourse bouncing, and that went in.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously penalties. Couldn't have asked for better penalties apart from, sadly, Keaty.
No, that's right. All of them were good, and to be fair, theirs were brilliant as well. Yossi had, I put money on Yossi saving a pen because he's a big lad in there, and he didn't get near any of them because they were so good. I suppose that's what you expect from a championship team.
What was all that dancing on the line?
I don't watch penalties. I don't know if anybody's know. I don't watch them for some reason. I don't know what it is. So I went in, and when I watched the video the day after, I'd listened to Radio 1 on the way in, and Chris Moyles was on about it. Thinking, what's he on about? And when I seen him,
obviously with the cup run over, league priority, but we slipped up a few games. Left League would really just edge it over in front of us. Which games do you feel that were the ones that...
The one we lost.
Well, going back to that night, Boyd came in for a drink before he left, and that was his thing. Don't let it affect your league form, because he'd had similar earlier in the year with Liverpool, played Liverpool, and it affected him after it. It affected us a bit, but
we were lucky really. We were the game after playing 120 minutes and penalties and everything. We had Kettering come.
That's right.
And they were in complete disarray, 13 players, the lot, and we sort of got away with it a little bit because the lads were completely out on their feet, and we scored a pants-free kick and it went in off my heel, and it was just going for us at that time. We were right in the middle of our purple patch then, and then it's just essentially caught up with us a little bit.
We had that 3-week break where we got a game.
The Stockport one was rubbish. We weren't very good. Obviously, the Alfreton at home was probably our worst performance of the season. Forest Green, we could have nicked something. We gave everything last half an hour that weren't good enough first half, yeah. But Forest Green at home, we say that might have been a killer, we're losing that, but we had to win. Yeah. The way Fleetwood we had to win to stay, and any chance of staying with them. So a point probably wasn't good enough. Yeah. So we're trying to get the win, and they don't boot it downfield, and they score. And, and if we'd have drawn that, then okay, we might have been still unbeaten, but it's 2 points drop because Fleetwood were going so well. So we felt that we had to go and try and win it. But a couple of others, and but when we played Fleetwood, I think we showed what we're all about again. And I think we played some good stuff and deserved to win. By a couple of stupid ref decisions, then I think we probably would.
Yeah. Mansfield Friday night, it wasn't a difficult condition, but same for both teams really. The pitch was heavy, pulled down all game.
Yes.
The season for Mansfield.
We weren't great again, and you watch it back. We watched every DVD back, and it just wasn't pretty. It wasn't. They just looked brighter than us with second balls and stuff that we weren't doing. We only had us either end of the pitch, and that wasn't us. That's not us. They pretty much did to us what we were doing to teams maybe a couple of months ago. And is that a mindset of being in the playoffs and being second and waiting or what? But we can't do that. We can't afford to do that because we've got to go into the playoffs bright and in a bit of form. And we felt it wasn't right. We went over a few things. I thought we had a really good meeting after it, didn't we? A few of the players chirped up and said some stuff, and it hit home a little bit to a few people. And I think the Newport game, I took a younger side down there, and I felt sick in the core about what team do I take? What team do I take? Because we had the Mansfield game on a ridiculous wet pitch. Do I take them again, knowing that Newport wasn't great last time I played there?
And the pitch, the manager in the last few games who played Newport said about the pitch.
Right.
Each one commented.
So it was a bit, do we need to get a win because we need the momentum switching in our favour, but you have to weigh the two up. And the minute I got down there and walked out onto the pitch and said to him it was the right decision. It was the right decision to leave a few of the lads back at home, because trying to play these next 3 games now after being those 2 pitches, it would have been so difficult. So it was right, and in the end the lads were fantastic.
Some good performances out there.
Some really good performances and tough decisions.
Obviously Braintree on Saturday, not trying to dismiss them at all, but we are where we are, and I think mine's really certainly the fans' minds are now all on next week in the playoffs, and on Saturday as well, minds will be looking elsewhere to see who we're going to be playing. Obviously Luton, Kitty, possibly York. Who do you fancy?
Anyone? I want Braintree. Purely because we play them on Saturday, and I think it's a good game for us, because it's a chance then to stamp our authority and say, right, this is us. This is us going in the playoffs. We did it at Newport, and it means that all the lads will have had a game in that week, and we're ready to go on Thursday, and they're fresh, and we're going to ready to smash it. And that's my point of view. And it's pick yourself. Go out and prove yourself that you want to be in this team for the next Thursday night. And if you do well, I can't not pick you. So that's the idea going out to them is, go on then, you show them. And that's what I want. And then if we win that game, then that's 2 wins on the bounce. Grimsby a good performance, Fleetwood a good performance. We're ready to go for me. And then I think we're fairly set.
Good. So, but as far as the performance is concerned, you're not bothered.
I don't think you can be. They've all had good seasons. Kitty have done really, really well. Luton have dropped off but managed to come back into it a little bit with the new manager, and York a footballing team, so all done great. I don't really care. No. We're going to have to beat whoever.
All 3, I think you've had lots up to now.
We've concentrated since we've been second. We've sort of concentrated on, we've been at Southport twice, which was always fun. Which wasn't worth doing, but
we've been looking since.
We've had people going to York and Luton and all sorts to try and just see if there's anything different. Luton have gone to 4-4-2 since he's come in, so that's something new for us. So we'll see. We'll be alright.
Going back as well, coming into the playoffs, and last summer, it must have been difficult for you, because you was a player at that time, coming in, knowing the off the field history, etc. Was it difficult for the players at that time? Because obviously you weren't getting paid as well.
Yeah, it was on and off whether we did or we didn't, and it was it's going to go in tomorrow, and then it wasn't, and it was the next day, and it wasn't. It was just a mad time, but it's all trying to you're still trying to focus yourself on the playoffs and stuff. I was injured, so. But half an hour of football, the time was dead. Do you know what I mean? Half an hour was after 46 games, and half an hour. We look back at it, and it wasn't really. We weren't that bad. They had 2 unbelievable strikes, and one of them was preventable. So 3-0 down, we did well to not concede any more, and then we went down there, and I thought we were magnificent. Lads that played, we played really well, and Gaz Taylor's pen goes in. They were rocked a little bit, and anybody can miss a penalty. That's no problem. We had a couple of chances, but then when they scored, I think it was game over. But we were disappointed because obviously the first leg had put it, made it really difficult for us.
So for you, really, the players who played last season in those playoffs, you've got the experience of playing in the playoffs, and I take it that this time it's not going to happen again.
Don't say that. No, a little bit of experience. The majority of the lads are still here, and it still hurts. Nobody likes going out in the playoffs anyway. So it's going to be really tough. We've got to be at it, our game, all of us. But if we are, we know that we're a match for anybody, and we'll certainly be giving it everything. And there's a massive prize of going to Wembley, isn't there, at the end of it? So that's a feat in itself.
Okay. Anybody from the audience like to ask a question for Andy or Billy? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, in the last meeting, congratulations both of you, by the way, for the season and for your full-time appointments.
Thank you.
From our last meeting, David Roberts said they sold Danny Ward to Liverpool because he wouldn't sign the contract, and they didn't want to go to tribunal at all, afraid of tribunal. When that Percival that came out, he'd signed for Peterborough. Is it still on that? Has he gone?
Yeah, we're still talking, but I think he won't be here next year.
He came out after that. We refused 100,000 for him. Well, knowing he was going, because everybody thought he was going, couldn't we have accepted that and with a proviso that he stays till the end of the season?
And did you want me to take that as a direct? Just answer that question in terms of the transfer policy. It's a big thing for the trust, and then the people representing the trust and the board and the other directors to sort of work with Andy to get the transfer policy right. But when you look at, we did make some player sales, but we wanted to make sure that we were giving ourselves the best chance of still going for promotion, and we spoke with the management team and took their advice on what they believed was the right thing to do. So to keep Nat for the season, we felt as a club and as owners of the club, it was the right thing to do to keep. We believe financially we were in a much better position, but listening to the manager, then it was the right footballing decision as well.
Yeah, but I meant keeping him on loan till the end of the season.
They wouldn't do that.
They won't do it.
They wouldn't do that. We tried with Curtis, we asked those questions, but they don't do it because they want to take him. They're spending that sort of money on him, they keep him. You look at Danny Ward, really, really good keeper, but he wasn't around our first team.
No.
We had Maxi and we've got Yossi, 2 really good keepers. And he's 18 and he was offered a chance. He's not that he wouldn't sign a contract because we'd offered him a not bad contract. It was just that Liverpool comes sniffing.
Oh.
When you're an 18-year-old kid, what would you do? Do you know what I mean? So we have to think, if it goes to tribunal, we'll get very little money for it because he's not played a first team game. So we'll get very little money. So what do you do? He's not affecting my first team at this moment. He might do in 5 years' time. If we'd have kept him, he might be worth a lot of money then. But at that time, it was the right decision for us to let a young lad follow his dream of playing in the Premier League. For me.
Another thing, Andy, are we keeping an eye, like Spencer and myself, we know each other personally. We do speak a little bit of Welsh between us. I watched some of the games on Scorio on SOC. There's quite a lot of talent in that league, you know. Do we watch any of the players?
I record with Scotty on, watch that.
Aye.
We've got a couple of lads on loan out there, so it
Yeah.
enables me to not have to go to the games, but I can see how they're doing and I speak to them. So I watch it and have a look, and these names pop up all the time down there. But you look again, if you're taking from the League of Wales, it's a chance for one of their players to make that step up into the English game, if you like. But you have to pay money for it.
Yeah.
So if you're taking a chance on taking somebody from a lower division rather than 900 people that are coming out on frees this summer. So we have to weigh it up as a club. What's the best way to go? To take somebody that's been in the league and done it and knows a little bit about it for nothing, or do you take a gamble on a kid that you have to pay for? They're the decisions that we have to make, and we have to.
Because I know we were watching Cassidy, weren't we, from Airbus, and he went to Wounds.
Right, the big day, he's done well. He's
Got to Tramia now.
That's right, he's scored a few goals. Yeah, well from the 21. Yeah, he's been thrown my way for loans, and you know the names get pop up all the time. But these are the decisions that you have to make. You know, for Knight personally, one is that we felt that he was in our first team, and he was key to us to keep us where we were, which was top of the league at the time.
Yeah.
So for £100,000, I'd rather lose Wardy than lose him. He affects my first team. And if he goes at the end of the season, we offer him a contract between those times and hope that he stays. He hasn't.
Just another small point, Richard. You know our last meeting we had when Barry Horn was.
Right, yeah.
Did you ever see the programme on the next night on BBC Wales?
No, I
About the Wrexham situation.
No, I never
It
saw
was the forward night after Barry Horn. It seems the Wrexham Council were one of the biggest offenders. Well, did we hire a chap called Thornley? They did say the trust.
Yeah, we hired a talent consultant called Alan Thornley, who appeared on the programme.
And he said, he told Wrexham Council, don't let Roberts and Moss build those flats under that contract. And they ignored it. And the thing they said, we will attempt to put the profits of the flats into the club. He said that attempt doesn't mean anything. Don't let them have it. And he ignored the advice, and £2 million has gone. We lost £2 million a year from those flats because the advice they wouldn't take.
In terms of the trust position back then, we weren't opposed to development. We were opposed to the terms on which that development happened, and we spoke against the development at the time. And James, I spoke on behalf of the trust that evening. But you know, history, you know, is plain to see. We do have we have the flats there now, but we, you know, the positive thing is we have a vibrant and flourishing football club that is on its way up.
Is anybody else with a question? Yes, Smith?
In terms of the playoffs, have you got the lads practicing penalties yet?
Not yet. Not yet, because that's only going to be week Monday, isn't it? So I'm sure along the line we will do at some point. But we did do
Probably
we did do
the train from there.
we did for Brighton.
Saturday on.
Okay, any more questions? Yes?
Congratulations how you conducted yourself, both of you. I think you've been excellent. The way you conducted yourself throughout the media and everything, I think you've done very well. One thing that doesn't show me is the situation with the fullback. I thought was one of your outstanding players. In hindsight, do you think that was the right move to sell that man at that time? And has it had a bearing on your team for going forward?
Curtis.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's interesting one. Interesting one, Kurt, because he's obviously a good player. Fastest thing on 2 feet. And he started quite a few of our attacks for us with his pace. He was out of position quite a lot and caught out for some goals. But his pace got him out of the situation. So we again have to look at the sense of the football club, the stance of the football club, and players as well. And for a 21-year-old, for me, to stop a 21-year-old going to the Premier League was a very difficult situation for the money that they were offering for him as well. with 6-8 months left on his contract. I think it was a good deal. I think Danny Alfie's coming back, and he's a good player. He's going to be a really good player. And Stephen Wright as well. I think they've both done well, and him going didn't affect our form. You know, for the 2 months after that, you know, through to the end of March probably, no problems, no issues. Nobody was saying a word about it. It's just these last few games when we've probably not been scoring as many, I suppose, or creating as many chances, is when it's all cropped up, and I don't regret it now.
Okay.
I think it helped the football club, which is the most important thing.
Any more questions?
Yeah, please. I can appreciate, because you've got a lot of a brilliant skill set across the team that we've got. You know, it's a small team comparable with obviously the resource that Fleetwood have got. So again, commendable efforts on what you've achieved this year since taking over. Interested to understand how, you know, you've got players of a great quality as Chris Maxwell, and all throughout the team, players who are finding it hard to get into the team. What's the key been to keeping them players motivated, do you feel?
I think with him on this thing, he's honest with the ones that aren't in the team, and tells them exactly what he wants off them, so they go away, they try and work on it, and people do get a chance. And it's Andy's relationship with the playing squad that keeps it nice and calm.
So everybody wants to see Maxi also get a clean sheet at the day.
Maxi's a very good keeper, but so is Jossie. And Jossie's been magnificent. When he got his chance early on when I arrived at the club through Maxi on international duty, really. And he took his chance. Yeah, he made a few mistakes recently, but you look back and he was at the best. A really, really good keeper. The best in the league for me this season. And that's not saying he's better than Maxi, because we've got two good keepers. Joss is the best in the league because he's played the most games. And you see the presentation earlier, we conceded the least goals. I think it was 6 clean sheets, 7 clean sheets on the trot. And a lot of that was down to him. You know, when he comes for things, to Jossie. But, let's say, Andy's relationship with the players is key to keeping everybody on side.
I think the majority have played as well. They've probably played 10, 12 games plus. You know, the ones that are on the fringes have played, like, we've got 6 strikers here, and played 3. But all 6 have played probably 20 games, you know, each, in different positions and stuff. Sometimes enforced because of suspensions and stuff, but other times you just pick the best 3 that are available at the time. And that keeps them happy because they know that if you're not playing, that within 4 or 5 games, more than likely, you'll have a chance. And if you go in and do well, then you stay.
But certainly commendable, you know, because for a number of years, the teams that we've either had short balls in midfield, attack or defence. I think the team as a whole, in each unit, has been consistently very good from the core at the back right to the strikers. So again, really good effort, lads.
No, they've been a different grade for me. They could have used Dino leaving as an excuse. They could have used not being paid, the takeover, not knowing what's going on. Any of them, and you let them have it. You let them have it as an excuse because it is. I couldn't feed my family on the first of the month. I couldn't pay my mortgage. It's all relevant in the back of people's minds. They just went, no, I'm not having it. I'm just going to get on with my job. I know my job. I'm going to do it, and it's commendable how they did it. And they've been magnificent. We just need to finish it off.
Any more questions? Yeah,
Phil. For Andy, really. With hindsight, do you have any regret why you've not played Randall more than you have done, especially after, you know, when you played against Hinkley? And the other question is, have you ever played at anywhere better than Wembley before? And as a perk as the player manager, will your name be the first one on the
Right, go with Glenn first. This could take a while. Right, Glenn is an unbelievably gifted footballer. Unbelievably gifted. At his age, he couldn't do 2 games in a week. And he struggled from pre-season. He had Achilles problems. He couldn't get fit. He couldn't train fully throughout the week. And then it was sort of probably around the Darlington game, wasn't it, when we played at home. He was fully fit, he'd had a few reserve games, he was training every day, and he was really sharp in training. And he can change a game. Change a game like that because he just wants the ball all the time, he can tell people where they're meant to be, and he just gets on with it. And for me, that's probably his best position as a sub, to come on and change a game for me. If I start him, my rest of my team has to be built around him. Whereas the team that we've got with him not in the team is a fairly set, solid outfit. So do we change that for one player to bring in? Because basically you find him anywhere on the pitch. He goes and does what he wants. So the rest of us have to ball with him, which is fine because he's got the ability to go and win you a game. So we have to weigh up the time when we can do that and when we can't do that, and the games that he can do that and the games that he can't. You know, I think you look at maybe a Mansfield who are full brute, right force, right in your face, compared to like a Fleetwood where we can get it and pass it and move it. They're the games that we can maybe get away with when we play him, and he pops up at right back and gets the ball, and who marks him? You know, but we have to make sure that the middle of our pitch is solid, because he could be anywhere. So that's probably why we've not played him as much, because you've got to play him when he's fully fit and fully flying, and that's getting him that more games than not is the trick bit.
How did you name the first one on the team sheet?
Well, would you pick it? Would you?
FT's informed now.
Okay, question from behind, Phil.
Yeah, just on that point, I think you'd be better coming on later as an impact player now. I think you would be much better coming on for the last 20 minutes against Town defenders using blistering pace. I think as an impact player you would have more than you do from the start, but that's not the point I wanted to make. Going back to the guy you can answer that. Going back a bit about keeping players happy, it's just an observation, and it might be totally off centre to how you see it. Since you and Billy took the reins, Adrian, I think, is 10 times the player he was under the Sun. What surprised me a bit, after the cup run, he got a bit of an injury, didn't he, Adrian? And he didn't come back into the team. And I wonder how you feel about it, whether the fact he didn't bring him back into the team has done his confidence a bit.
We have these conversations every day about every player, and he is the one that we probably have the most talks about. When I first went round to Billy's house on a Sunday night, Sunday or Friday night? Friday. I was too drunk anyway. Just for the Friday night to talk to Billy. You know, he was like, "What's your squad like? You know, what are your players like?" And I went through Kreitz and Nat and Edit and Ashy, Energy, Curtis, Pace, and Sis was the one player that I said, "I think we've got a bit of a gem. I think we've got a gem. I just need to bring it out of him." And he could be the one that's worth a lot of money to us, potentially. And he could win us a lot of games. And he did do. You know, the Brighton away got us back in it. You know, there was the Brighton at home. He was magnificent. You know, and other games he's got us a penalty against Ebbsfleet that's got us the win. And he's got that bit of extra ability, like I said before, to win you a game. It's consistency with him that we need more. So I was talking to him when I was a player before that, saying, Dino's not picking you every week because some games you're a 9 out of 10, and then the next 3 you'll be a 4 or a 5. He needs a 7, an 8, a 7. You know, that sort of consistency rather than being up and down. But some wingers are like that. Do you know what I mean? So I think we did get the best out of him. He was becoming a little bit more consistent. And maybe not being in the team has knocked his confidence a little bit. But we need him to be doing the horrible stuff, the off-the-ball stuff, as much as the rest of the lads. Because that's a big part of our game, is everybody pulling their weight. And if he does that, with his bit of extra ability, he wins us games. And that's what we try and stress to him as well. And if anybody was at Newport, and made the trip down to Newport, he was very good again. He was very good again. He maybe dipped a little bit, but everybody's form goes up and down. And in the last 2 weeks, he's been a lot better in training. Something might have clicked or whatever. You come out for what, you know. And he's been bang at it for a couple of weeks, and he was good at Newport. And hopefully, he might be that little bit extra that we need.
There's no doubt he's different class. You two came to the club to volleyball, but so much of it. Different class. I mean, some of the things his body language seems a bit wrong when you've been bringing him on as sub recently. And I just wondered whether it was a confidence thing with him, with not being brought straight back into the team, maybe thinking after the Brighton game that he should be.
Yeah, well, you tell me probably better. You know, we're with him, and it might be like that. It's probably a bit of everything. Probably a bit of everything. But if that's as a player, you need to show us that you do. You know, you want to get back in the team. And you know, for me, he's been a little bit just not quite where he's normally been at, and that little bit is important because I might pick somebody else ahead of him. If he gives me that, and I see it, he might be the one that gets it. Do you know what I mean? So, and we tell him that. You know, it's not. I'm not telling you and not telling him. It's we talk to him. I talk to him most days about it. You know, doing the right things. Because in all the stats tests that you do at the start of the season, he's off the scale. He could be in the Premier League. He can jump out the building. He can sprint as fast as whatever. You know, it's unbelievable. And it's just with Sis, it's the consistency thing. And we'll be at him, and we will be at him all the time to make sure that he does, because we believe that we've got a player on our own.
Okay, conscious of the time, a couple more questions. Yes, Rich?
Yeah, just going back to the point you made about Chiz, it's the player you most talk about. The player we most talk about, and the problem amongst me and my mates, is Pogba. I mean, sometimes he frustrates the hell out of us. He doesn't go his way, he'll put his head down, he's got his hands on his hips, he won't track back. Just wondering if he frustrated you, must he frustrate you?
All the players frustrate me.
They're the two we speak about most. They're the two that can possibly win us the game when things aren't going right. And they're both desperate to do well, by the way. You know, obviously, they've got great attributes, but there's still a work in progress. You know, the young boys that have, I think it's Potter's first proper full season, isn't it? So what you're seeing at the moment is a very tough Popper. He's been given a few days off to freshen up, trained today, trained well, and we just hope that now, obviously, we're hoping that we get to Wembley. And what better stage for a young lad to go and write themselves into Wrexham history books. You know, but there's a lot of hard work before we get there. But they are desperate to do well, and I think they heap loads of pressure on themselves as well.
You're talking foreign, you're talking young, he lives with his brother, nowhere near his mum. You know, all these things that you see him out on the pitch for 90 minutes, all these factors are big factors in we're trying to make him as comfortable as he is at our place. And I think he's come on leaps and bounds since when he got his debut, or, you know, when he came on at the end of last season to where he is now. He couldn't hardly stand up at the end of last season at some point. At least we've got him on his 2 feet. How can I be worried? But yes, they're for sure.
You made such a great speech on Sunday, of course.
Yeah, I'll pay him. I'll pay him.
Question.
How's Phil Jeans get on?
Jebo, yeah, I know Jebo from playing with him at Bury. He came on loan there. Very, very capable player. Got goals in him, and he got paid up at Morecambe. I got asked if I would have a look at him. I know all about him. He needed somewhere to train for the rest of the season to stay fit, and I tried to get him in games, but because we're in Wales and they're in England, I couldn't get registration. It's ridiculous. But he's a tiny footballer, and you know it's finances, it's what division we're in, it's all that sort of stuff that you've got to look at. But if that's the calibre of player that we can look at and maybe attract to the club, then we could open up to it.
Okay. Anybody else got a question? Last question then?
Obviously, we're worried about the playoffs. We're looking at the playoffs and possibly Wembley, but obviously you're thinking about next season and you're thinking about which way you're going next season. Have you got things set in your mind as how you'd like to play, whether you want to do anything differently, where you want to improve things? what are you actually looking at now as regards next season?
Very good question, because what do you do? Do you concentrate fully on the next 3 games that we've got? Then if we've got through the 3 games in a positive manner, the 4th game, do you just focus completely on that, or do you start thinking about next season and pre-season and where we're going to go? Are we going to go on tour? Are we going to go? Who are we going to play? We can only maybe play 3 home games, so they've got to be good home games. And all this sort of thing. Do you think about that players? Who am I going to keep, who am I going to not keep? That's all going through the process now, looking at players and thinking about players. But we can't really do anything because we don't know what division we're in, we don't know what money we've got coming in. You know, being in the league, to be in this league, financially is massive. To budgets, to everything. So, as much as you want to plan and think about it, it's not a great deal, because the teams that say in pre-season you want to go and play a couple of teams, they might be in our division next year. You don't know. So, do you want to be playing them, or do you want to play ones from the division above? Or, do you know what I mean? So, all these things are pretty much up in the air, but you can sort of put your feelers out and start planning a little bit with regards to playing styles and stuff. I think there's not much wrong. 95 points, I think, proves that. So, it's not going to be clear out of time if we don't go up. I don't think. I think it's going to be a few additions if we can. Financially, that will tell us if we stay in this division and we go again. But
Jim, have you an idea what players are going to stay? And you know, you got
again, we talk daily about it, not about their futures as such, but about how they're doing, what they can offer us for next season and stuff, and what positions we need to strengthen in, what positions we've got abundance of people in. Ideas are being formed at the moment, but again, it's can we afford to have 5 midfielders, or can we only afford to have 4? And if it is 4, which one don't? Do you know what I mean? All these things you have to think about. Do we get rid of 3 to bring 1 in? Would that help, or would it hinder? So all these things are things that we're going to have to weigh up and try and get the balance right. Like we said, the gentleman here, we've got quality throughout this season, and people that have come in have been just as good. That's what we want next season, if not better.
Okay, guys. All the best for Saturday, but more importantly, all the best for next week. And let's hope you can deliver what we want.